I started recording. First off, when we have our XY coordinates, there's a couple of labels, okay? First off, the quadrants. This is quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. You do not need to do it in Roman numerals. You can just put the numbers. That's fine. You also have the y-axis, the x-axis, and then in the middle, you have, what is the middle called? Origin. Okay. So if I give you a point like 3 comma negative 2, 3 comma negative 2 would be here, and you would say it's in quadrant 4. If I gave you something like 0 comma 2, 0 comma 2 would be here, and that would be the y-axis. This will be.
You're not going to get a lot of subscribers, but
I know. Next one. I do it because it's my passion, not for the fame. Next one. Check if the ordered pair is a solution. So I'm going to give you an ordered pair, something like this. Y equals 3x minus 2. Then I give you an ordered pair, let's say 6 comma 15. 6 comma 15. Which means all the x's and all the y's. All the x's and all the y's. Yeah, go ahead. I plug it in where the x is and I plug it in where the y is, okay? So with that in mind, what we're going to do, it's going to be 15 because the y over here is 15 equals 3 times 6 minus 2. This 6 is the x. So you replace and you check if it's true or false. 15 equals 3 times 6 is 18 minus 2. Yes. 16. That is not true, so you would write no for the answer. This is the one thing you technically have to show work because otherwise it's a 50-50, okay?
What?
You have to show me you plugged it in. After that, you don't have to do anything. But you got to show the plug-in.
Can I just do 15 equals whatever it would equal instead of actually showing?
Yeah, that's fine. That's also true. It showed me that you actually plugged it in, just not guess 50-50. All right. Find the x and y intercepts. So when you have an equation, 6x minus 4y equals, let's do 24. Let's do 32. Okay. So for this mind, 6x minus 4y equals 32. So with that in mind, we're going to find the x-intercept and y-intercept. When you find the y-intercept and x-intercept, you make the other one 0. So when I find the x-intercept, I make y equals 0. So that means the x-intercept is going to be 6x minus 4. The y has become a 0 equals 32. This 0 cancels everything out here. So it's 6x equals 32. X equals, this is a decimal. X equals 5 and 1/3. On your test, it won't be a decimal. I just made this up, so it's probably just right. So with that in mind, your coordinate point or your x-intercept is literally 5 and 1/3, comma 0. Okay? That's your x-intercept. It should be in a coordinate point. The y-intercept, you make x equals 0. So in this case, 6 times 0 minus 4x, 4y, equals 32. Cross that out. Negative 4y equals 32. Divided by negative 4 on both sides. Y equals negative 8. So it's 0 comma negative 8. Okay. Find the slope. The formula for the slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I do not give you the formula on the test. So, when you have 2 points, 2 comma 4, 6 comma 6. You're subtracting. First label though. Always label. It makes your life easier. So x1, y1, x2, y2. So it's 6 minus 4. Y2 is 6. Y1 is 4. 6, x2 is 6, minus 2. You get 2 over 4, which is 1/2. Always simplify your slopes. Once again, always simplify your slopes. Also know, if you have a 0 on top, that becomes 0. Or just, you could write the letters or number 0. And if you have a 0 on bottom, no matter what happens, that's going to be undefined. Okay? Don't forget that. Yeah, right. 0 on top is 0. 0. Oh, good. A 0 slope would look like left to right, and a undefined slope would look up and down like this. Okay? All right. What's up? What do you have a question?
No, I just feel lost without my phone.
3x equals 10. So for this one, I'm going to ask you, please give me the slope and the y-intercept. I can find the slope and the y-intercept if I give it in the slope-intercept form, which looks like y equals mx plus b, where the m, the number next to the x, is the slope, and b is the y-intercept. So because of that, I need to make it look like this. This does not look like that. So what I'm going to do is plus 3x on both sides. So then I have 2y equals 3x plus 10 divided by 2. Divide both of them by 2. Don't forget to divide both of them. People forget that all the time. So y equals 3/2 x plus 5. So if I ask you for the slope, that answers 3 over 2. If I ask you for the y-intercept, the answer is 5. You could also write 0, 5. Same thing. All right. Next thing is direct variations. Direct variations or inverse variations. So let's say x varies inversely with y and jointly. Jointly is also the same thing as directly, so keep that in mind, with z. Okay? So the question is going to give you 2 pieces of information. The first one is when x equals 10, y equals 2, and z equals 5. Okay? Please find, so that gives you first this with, please find x when y is 5 and z is 10, let's just say. So in this situation, the first thing you need to do is set it up. It's inversely with y and jointly with z. Jointly, or you might see as directly, okay? Or direct. With that in mind, inversely tells me that that variable is going to be on the bottom. So x equals, you can use k or the letter a. Yeah.
What?
A, where jointly goes with on the top, so that's z, and inversely goes on the bottom, which is y. So make sure you set it up correctly or you're going to get it wrong. So I know when x is 10, the z is 5, and the y is 2. So I need to get rid of this. So I'm going to times 2 on both sides. 20 equals 5a. Then divided by 5 on both sides. A equals 4. Okay? With that in mind, I found that a equals 4. That's the first thing you want to find, the constant. The second thing you want to find is find x when y and z is these numbers. You take the a value, so x equals the a value, which in this case is 4, the z value, which in this case is 5, and the y value, which in this case is also 5. So 4 times 5, 20 over 5, that reduces down to 4. So in this case, x equals 4. So you got to do the first part, then the second part. Remember, reversely puts it on the bottom, jointly or direct puts it on top.
Do I have to remember the formula for the test?
Yes.
All the like, do we also need to remember like the f equals
Yeah, so let me do the f stuff, okay? But no. F of x
so much?
is not the specific one that I gave you an example. F of x could be in...
There's so many specific ones. Do you know?
No.
You figure out how to do it. It gives you like
Yeah. So I'll show you in a second, okay? So, if you want to. So, next thing, talk about f of x. Let's talk about the function notation, which is what it's called. So let's say f of x equals 6x minus 1. Renee, I'm just giving the equation. It's just some equation I'm giving you.
Are you gonna give us?
Yeah, you have to.
Oh.
It's not, f of x is not always, I don't know what I give you in notes, 4x plus 2 or whatever. It's just different per name. So, f of x is 6x plus 1. Please find me what f of 2 is.
It says minus 1.
Oh, minus 1, my bad. And then let's find x when f of x equals, when f of x equals 23. Okay? Thank you. Guys. So, first one, there's 2 questions here. First one would be f of 2 or some variation of that. So what we're going to do is, since 2 is inputted into the function, we also input it into our actual equation. So 6 times 2 minus 1. This is not a test of, can you do complicated math? This is a test of, do you know what I'm asking when I tell you this? So you just plug in the 2 here. 6 times 2, 12 minus 1. Your final answer would be 11. Again, the trick isn't plugging in the math. The trick is knowing what to do. Over here, find x when f of x equals 23. This one's a little different. I want my result to be 23. All of f of x equals 23. So I replace the word with the symbol f of x. So 23 equals 6x minus 1. Plus 1 on both sides, 24 equals 6x. Divided by 6 on both sides, 4 equals x. Plus 1 on both sides. So, make sure your f of x makes sense. Know what it is. It's not the trick of, you already did 1-step equation, 2-step equations 3 chapters ago. This is just plugging stuff in. Yes, and make sure you come back. All right. Last thing's graphing. Now, graphing, there's multiple routes to graph. I'll show you both right now. Let's say y equals 2x plus 3. So, your graph, unlike some sort of sample sometimes, your graph will definitely fit the graph. So don't worry about going points. But for this one, can we stop playing around? So, to do this one, we identify what y is, our slope is, and our b. So my slope in this case is the number 2. But I need my slope to be a fraction, which is 2 over 1. That tells me rise over run, which tells me I go up 2 and right 1, which is the same thing as going down and left. The second part is b. b equals 3. So that tells me I'm going to start at 0, 3. So 0, 3 starts right here. For my slope, I go up to right 1. Remember, if it doesn't fit, then you make sure you go the other direction also. It's okay if they don't all fit. So up to right 1. And then the reverse direction, down to left 1. After you have that, you can connect the dots. Pretty straightforward. For your test, make sure you graph at least 2 dots before you graph a line, okay? You need at least 2 dots before you graph a line. I'll put that in the instructions. The other way to graph, is to use slope-intercept form. Or, I'm sorry, to use intercepts. So I'll take the same one as an example. So in this case, I'm going to find the y-intercept and the x-intercept. Remember, it's the reverse of what you plug in. So the y-intercept, I plug in x equals 0. Y equals 2 times 0 plus 3. Y equals 3. So that's 0, 3. The x-intercept is the reverse. Y equals 0. So 0 equals 2 times x plus 3. I got to subtract 3 on both sides. Negative 3 equals 2x divided by 2 on both sides. I'll try to make sure these are whole numbers for you, okay? X equals negative 3 halves, or if I were to turn that into decimal, negative 1.5. Okay. So this is negative 1.5, comma 0. No. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Guys, can we cut it out? Pick up the pencil. Thank you. So for this one, the y-intercept is at 3, 0, 3. So I put a dot there. My x-intercept happens to be at negative 1.5. Negative 1.5, I'm between negative 1 and negative 2. So I put it in the middle. After that, you connect the dots. All right, last thing I'm going to tell you then. Y equals 2, x equals 3. As a reminder, these are vertical and horizontal lines. So when I say y equals 2, that means every y value equals 2. Like 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, negative 5, 2. If you start putting those dots, you should realize it is a horizontal line. It's a little anti of what you expect. Since you see y, you would think vertical. But it's reverse, so it's horizontal. It's great. X equals 3 means I see every x that equals 3. Like 3, 0, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, negative 5. It doesn't matter. All the places where x equals 3. Turns out, if you plot that all, you get a vertically straight line. Again, it's a little reverse what you expect. Don't mess this up. It's the little easiest question, but usually it has a high mistake rate. Don't make that mistake. Don't be the one. Okay. With that in mind, that should be enough information for your test. This does not cover every question verbatim, but it should cover all the topics. Renee, you have a question?
Oh yeah. How would you solve negative 6x plus y equals 11?
So negative 6x plus y equals 11.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I was told to graph this, I probably would use the intercepts, okay? So let's say y-intercept and x-intercept, okay? So I would take the y-intercept, which makes x equals 0. So I would replace this with 0. So negative 6 times 0 plus y equals 11. Wait, that completely disappears. So y equals 11, which means my first point is 0, 11. The second one, x-intercept, I'll make y equals 0. So negative 6x plus 0 equals 11. Wait, this completely disappears. Negative 6x equals 11. Divided by negative 6 on both sides. X equals a negative 11 over 6, which, while usually we like to keep it in a fraction, it's a little hard to graph negative 11 over 6. So I would turn it into a decimal, which should be around negative 2 point or negative 1.8. You could graph a decimal. You can. If you go 2 down, let's say for this one, or this is 2 left, my bad. So this is negative 1.8 comma 0. So in this case, guys, in this case, negative 1.8 is in between negative 2 and negative 1. So this is between the gap. So I would put my dot here for negative 1.8.
If it was grabbed like 11, negative 11 over 6, would that not wrong?
Negative 11 over 6?
Yeah, like I was switching to this one. How would you fraction?
Well, where's negative 11 over 6 though?
It would be like
It's like
on the negative.
after the graph.
No, that is not. Negative 11 over 6 equals negative 1.8-ish. So because of that, I know it should be negative 2 over negative 1. So changing the decimal is just helpful to figure out where it is. And then here's 11 up here. Connect the dots. Just use your calculator. 11 divided by 6 will be 1.8-ish. About 1.8-ish. It's not 1.8. I think it's 1.8333 repeating or something like that. Okay? All right. Any other questions before I stop the video? Good question, man.